What's up, guys? Swift here. I have a realistic trade scenario for the Chicago Bears. While we are all still in the Christmas spirit, I had one potentially realistic trade scenario that I wanted to discuss. I see other Bears channels throwing out crazy trade scenarios all the time. 99% of them are so unrealistic that I don't pay them much attention. However, as I was watching the Cardinals-Bucks game last night, watching the dysfunction that organization has become, general manager of the Cardinals has just stepped away from the game. Their star quarterback, Kyler Murray, just tore his ACL, and the team is in the midst of a disastrous 4-11 season. They had Super Bowl aspirations coming into the year, a skilled young defense, a franchise quarterback, and they had brought in some big-time vets like J.J. Watt, Zach Ertz, and others. They traded for Hollywood Brown in the offseason to pair with DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, and Rondale Moore. Things have since hit rock bottom in Arizona, and there may be an elite trade option available that wouldn't cost an arm and a leg, but could propel this Bears receiving core to one of the best in the entire NFL. That player is the perfect fit. The Bears receiving core already has a lot of potential with youngsters Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones Jr., and N'Keal Harry, but they lack an alpha veteran currently. I believe that Chase Claypool can become that guy, but bringing in a guy like DeAndre Hopkins would elevate this entire offense to new levels immediately. A lot of people want to write him off because of his age, but that's not important here. Both Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool are under the age of 25. Bringing in Hopkins would give them time to develop without having to face number one corners consistently. It would make things a lot easier on Justin Fields and help this offense that is ascending suddenly cause defensive coordinators nightmares. Let me go into this a bit further. I've been dreaming of alpha receivers to help Justin Fields' development and set records in Chicago since we drafted him last year. I remember specifically watching DeAndre Hopkins on Thursday Night Football a couple of months ago before we got Chase Claypool and dreaming of a guy like that in Chicago. A few weeks later, Ryan Poles made my dream come true when he traded for Chase Claypool, a 6'4", 230-pound beast who runs a 4.4 and has all the tools to be the alpha receiver that DeAndre Hopkins is. That's right, I believe Chase Claypool can be just as good as DeAndre Hopkins in a couple of years, but he isn't there yet. What better way to help him and Fields reach their potential than bringing in DeAndre Hopkins himself? 2 months ago, it wasn't realistic. With how things have turned out in Arizona, that may have changed. Kyler Murray most likely will not be ready to start next season, and that team is falling apart. J.J. Watt is a free agent. So is Zach Ertz, paired with DeAndre Hopkins' massive cap hits over the next 2 seasons, and he's turning 31 years old, and there are plenty of reasons for the Cardinals to want to move on. Not to mention DHOP himself, turning 31 years old, still has a lot left in the tank and probably wants to at least have a shot at the playoffs next year. Fans might go, oh, well, the Bears are just as bad as the Cardinals. Why would Hopkins want to come here? Well, our quarterback is healthy, and with a good off-season, the Bears will definitely be in position to make a playoff run in 2023. If the Cardinals do decide to move on, it shouldn't take a top pick to get D-Hop either. Take last year's Amari Cooper trade as an example. Receivers aged 29 or older with $20+ million contracts don't usually fetch a lot of trade capital. Also, D-Hop has a $30 million cap hit next year, so any team acquiring him would need to be able to fit that into their salary cap. The Bears would have no problem with that. With nearly $130 million in cap space and the potential to add even more by releasing veterans like Cody Whitehair or a few other guys that are not in the long-term plans. There aren't many other teams out there that would give up a pick for D-Hop and be able to afford his $30 million cap hit. So realistically, what do I think it would take to get D-Hop? I would guess it would cost between a third and a fifth round pick. If we could acquire DeAndre Hopkins for a fourth round pick, that would be my dream scenario. Hopkins, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney would be a potentially elite receiving core for the next 2 to 3 years, while having Velus Jones Jr. as a fourth or fifth option. Suddenly, wide receiver would be a strength on this team. I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't think it was possible, but with Kyler Murray on the mend, the Cardinals GM just stepped away, and their dreams of competing for a Super Bowl this year completely fell apart. We also have plenty of cap space to make the deal, and we have extra picks in the fourth and fifth rounds of this year's draft from the Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn trades. This is one potential rumor to keep an eye on over the next couple of months. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the entire league, and he could be available very soon. I will be spending extra time breaking down the tape over the next 2 weeks since it's our last 2 games of the season, but I'm also beginning to shift my focus towards off-season mode. I'm beginning to put together my in-depth free agent list and my NFL draft big board. Stay tuned for those, guys. They will be coming over the next couple of weeks. Please remember to hit the like button for me, and until next time, bear down!